Hey y'all, welcome to the filling station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. But if you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at Tesla. And I say it so often, y'all, Tesla does what Tesla does, right? So we closed at 308.27 only to come down to this low of 301.50 pre-market. And y'all keep in mind, we have been at this place here, I think around July the 25th. The last time we hit this area of support, we bounced up to about the 321, 322 area, somewhere around there. So is this another strong support for Tesla, or are we going to get rejected and continue to the downside? That's why it's so important that we trade what we see. So we are now again looking at our 30-minute chart. It seems like we have a double bottom here. So is that giving us another signal? Keep in mind, we have a few rejection areas here, starting with we can use this area here of 307.60. Breaking that 307.60 area here, we could possibly have trouble 308.07. Again, 308.41. Breaking that level, you see the 50 EMA is right here at 309.05, right at a level we have marked here. So we could definitely possibly have trouble in that area. 309.30 could be a rejection area for us. Y'all see there's a few layers of resistance here for Tesla. Should we break this area of 309.30, we could possibly have trouble again. 309.92 all the way to the 310.55. There's a few layers there, breaking that 310.55, 310.94 all the way to this 311.50. Those are possible rejection areas. Breaking that 312.11 could be a resistance area, and should we break that 312.82, breaking that 313.26, and there's a few more layers, up to the 314.02. So if you're trading Tesla today, we have a lot of areas of resistance to the upside. Now, that does not say that we can't break through that. Why? Because I said often, y'all, Tesla does what Tesla does. That 314.90 is another resistance area, and the 315.31 area. So if you're trading Tesla to the upside today, those are possible areas of rejection. Now, it did break through this ATR trailing stop here. However, this candle has not closed, right? So this area as of now is our support area, 306.36. Now, breaking that, we could very well come back to 305.54 and breaking that 305.20. Now, should we break that 305.20, we see this area 304.92. Breaking that brings us back to 304.30, 304, let's say 29 area, and breaking that 303.79, and again at 303.29. So this is just kind of like an area of support. There's a few layers here, but again, I look at support and resistance on a smaller scale. Why? Because when I'm in the trade, I kind of want to know where my possible trouble places are, right? So breaking this level of 303.29 for Tesla, 303.79, 302, did I say? Yes, 302.79, and then again here at 302.45, breaking that 301.87. What would be interesting is if we break this level here of 301.50. If we break that level, that means we've broken through a level of support from July the 25th area. So I kind of need to watch that, right? So breaking that, we have 301.12. Breaking the 301.12, it brings us back to this 300 area, $300.44. And as you can see, there's a few layers of support down to the 299.75. Seeing Tesla at 299 will be interesting, but I said often, y'all, Tesla does what Tesla does. So if Tesla is something that you trade today, I said often, trade carefully, mark your levels, and once it goes against your why, get out, live to trade another day, right? So I do apologize that it's taking a little bit longer for my charts to load. I am in a on vacation, let's say that, right? So we are now looking at this SPY, and we closed at 632.08. I want to say where the trouble place is. Like immediately my eye goes to the gathering spot, but let's go back. SPY had a high of 631.57 and a low yesterday. It seems like it made a low around the 630.77. That 629 we reached after hours. It's interesting that we come off of the 641.57 down to a 629. Now we're at a 624 area. We're at a place that we kind of knew we could possibly have trouble, but that was a nice decline, right? So what's going on in the market, right? So where the trouble places as of now, it seems like our support area is right here at the 626.30. For the SPY, should we break that, back to the upside, resistance is around the 627.27. Let's look to the upside. Breaking this 626.27 area, we could possibly have trouble, let's say 626.43, 626.89, 628.41, 628.78. There's a lot of layers there. 629.14. Then the ATR trailing stop at 629.48. So in my opinion, that could be a strong resistance area for the SPY. Now, however, we could break that. Let me say that, right? So 629.49. 48, if we break that, 629.80, 630.02, and there's a few layers from there. So I would say if we break this area of 630.40 area for the SPY, we have broken through a strong layer of resistance, and we could possibly have trouble against 630.94 or the 631.25. Now let's look to the downside, right? Because guess what, y'all? We could very well continue declining. Something is seriously going on, right? Or not really. It's just, we've hit a high. We've been at that high for a while. So kind of we need this little decline so that we can either move higher or go back and, find some areas of what I fill in the gaps, as I like to say, right? So where are the trouble places back to the downside for the SPY today? Let's say if we break under the 626.85, we could possibly have trouble again or support around 626.51 and 626.30. Breaking that level, 625.88. Should we break that level, 625.38? Breaking that brings us back to 624.83, 624.39, 624.04, and y'all see there are a few layers right there at this 624.04 all the way down to the 623.86 and breaking that 623.04. Breaking that, there's a few layers there down to the 623.45. So if you're trading this SPY today, these are possible areas of support. Breaking that level, 623.25, 623.03, 623.85. Now breaking the 622.85 area, we could very well come back to 622.40. So again, y'all, in this market, I said often, in this market, anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed. So if you're trading today, I say today will be an interesting day. Just keep in mind, just because we had this decline does not mean we cannot continue declining. However, we could also move back to the upside because some of them are at levels of support, right? So we are now looking at Meta, and I'm going to see if I can Meta, we made a high of 784.75. We close at 773.44. That's interesting, right? So I'm going to see if I can mark these levels here. And right now we have resistance around the 767.11. We have support somewhere around the 762.84. So this will be the zone that we're trading in. And yes, we could use this level here, which is kind of like where our ATR trailing stop was, right? So that 761.69 area could be a support area for us. Resistance here at 767.11, breaking that level 769.88. And should we break that level for Meta today, I'm going to mark this at 771.31. Breaking that, we could possibly have trouble again, 774.03. And if we break that level, I'm just marking zones or areas of consolidation, as I like to say, where we had trouble with the body of our candle. So 780.60 could be a rejection area for us, and if we should break that, we could possibly have trouble again, 784.75. So let's go back to, if we should break this level, 767.11, we could possibly have trouble, 769.88, 771.38, 774.03, and breaking that, we could possibly have trouble again, 780.60, and breaking that level, 784.75. So if you're trading Meta today, those are possible areas of rejection. Now back to the downside, under 762.84, we could very well come back to this area, 748.25. Keep in mind, anything could stop us out in this area. Breaking that level, we could very well come back to 746.30. So if Meta is something that you trade today. I say trade carefully. That 746.24 area, we have the 200 EMA right here at 744.92, and breaking that level 742.29, breaking that 739.90, and breaking that level we have 738.18. So again, I said, y'all, if Meta is something that you trade today, mark your levels and keep in mind there was a big gap in between that dropped down back to the downside. So something is going or could very well stop us in that area, right? So we are now looking at NVDA, y'all. We closed at 177.87. Looks as if we have a pre-market low of 172.24. Kind of reminds me of Tesla's chart, right? We found that support down here at the previous level. Looks like we're trying to go back up only to have some trouble here. 175.47 is a rejection area as of now. 175.88, 176.16. Again at 176.41. Breaking that level brings us back to the 176.40, 176.89. Should we break that level, 177.43, again at 177.80, 178.25, 178.58, and 178.86. Now to the downside for NVIDIA today, let's say 174.92. Under that, 174.52, and breaking that level somewhere around the 174.18, 174, and breaking that brings us back to this 173.48. Now, what will be interesting in my opinion for NVIDIA today is breaking this level here of 172.57. Why? Because that something held us up there, right? So breaking this level here brings us back to, what stopped us this time. 172.57, breaking that 172.35, and breaking that level, we're here at 172.16. 171.96, when we should break that, if we should break that, 171.45 is the next level of support that I have. But keep in mind, y'all, anything can stop us out in this area. So if NVIDIA is something that you trade today, I say trade carefully, y'all. This is what I see when I look at the market. I said often, there's so many different ways to trade the market today. I mean, so many different ways to make money in the market. Let me say it that way. But again, what's challenging is trying to figure out the strategy and the plan that works best for you. So y'all, I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very, very productive day today. Again, if you could please like, share, and subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.